Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. I just see a question coming in, which is wonderful. I'm here a few minutes early so that you can all arrive, and I'm just going to reply to this question request from Anne. I don't know if Anne is on yet, but we'll see. Let me see here. Oops, I'm learning. Copy. So I have 7 questions today so far. So let's just put this in. Anne's in Norway, so this may be, we'll have to see if this is the right time of day for her. Okay, so I think I've got that in there now. Cool. So how is everybody today? Oh, look at all these lovely folks showing up while I was looking away at my notes here. So we've got Jen and AJ, Claudine, Camelia, Zoe, Sonia, Alberta's here. Nice to see you, Alberta. I don't know if I've seen you on here so far. So it's nice to have you. Paula's here. Hi. And Teddy's in. So we're all assembling. Monica's here. That's great. Monica has a question in today. Karen's here. Good. Maddie's here. Friend of Summer's. Yes, Summer said you were coming, so that's lovely to see you, Maddie. Fiona, who's Flora. I'm getting used to this one, Flora. Now I know you can't sneak in without me knowing. It's great. So this is great. So Anne's just checked in. That's wonderful. A lovely scarf. Yes, this was given to me by my friend. It comes from Istanbul. She was in Istanbul and in the market in the middle of the city, and she picked this up for me. And it's one of those pashmina ones. It's a little chilly around here today. So I thought, yes, I'll snuggle up in that and it will feel good. Janice is here. Welcome, Janice. Okay, we got just a few more minutes. We'll let the last few people come in and not miss anything at the beginning. This past week I've been learning about all things broadcasting this way. And I've ordered myself a light so that you can see my face without all the shadows on it. And I've ordered myself a holder for my iPad, and so that I can use that to do the filming, and it's the right height and direction. And oh, hi Rainey. So I've been researching online like crazy, and so that's due to come. I can't use it yet because it has to come still. Hi, Rose. So Rose, I think I have a question from you too today. So that's great that you're actually here. So let me go ahead and get started to honor everybody who's actually shown up exactly on time. Welcome, everyone. What I always say before I start, my caveat before I start any of these, is that your gut feel about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me, because I still read all of this through my earth suit and my, experiences and blind spots and all of that kind of thing. So, hi, Summer. So we want to make sure that you never give your power away to anybody else, and that includes me. So if I say anything to you, or if I say anything generally that doesn't feel right to you, then please put it in what I call the holding tank, and wait until you get validation on it. And people have told me all kinds of interesting stories about how they get validation later on. It seems to be the rule of 3. People feel like if they hear it from 3 sources, then maybe it's reliable. Which I just love. I think that's great. So my intent today, and it's pretty much the same every week, but I like to say it at the beginning because I believe that once you set your intention, everything else follows. So my intent today is to answer the asked and the intended questions and receive answers that are soulfully helpful to all the participants present and to follow, because I know that a number of people can't make it at this time on a Saturday, and so they watch it in the or they don't have enough bandwidth or whatever it is, so they'll watch it later in the recording form. So and what's interesting is time and space aren't what we think they are, so that means that people who are going to join us later are still influencing, because of their intention, they're still influencing the energy of what we do today. So even if they listen to it afterwards, they're still going to get something out of it that's important for them. So that's wonderful. So also a reminder, I've put in the announcements, under the announcements in the group, there's a page of keep in mind points. And those are the things that I normally explain at the beginning of a reading. And because we don't have that luxury of that kind of time, I'd rather be answering your questions instead. Feel free to pull that up and have a quick read of it. It's bullet points. It's really easy to read. And the holding tank part is in there. And not giving your power away. So I encourage you to take a look at that. It's in there. So let us get started today. If there's anything that you're feeling like you want to just tune into your heart and feel what it is that you need today, you don't have to say it necessarily, but you just want to feel it. Hi, Flora. I don't think I've seen you in here before, which is great. Yes, I'm just having a quick look down the list of folks who are here right now. So check in with your heart and see what you need today, because that's a form of intention setting as well. So you'll notice me looking off out the window and closing my eyes for moments, and that's because the information comes through to me in packets. Also, if you, and this applies today or any other day that you join the call, if you have a question that feels sensitive to you and you don't necessarily want to phrase it to the entire group, if you send it to me and you tell me what you really want to know and then how you'd like to phrase it, then I'll know that, and it will come through in the intention. And nothing will be, I won't speak anything that reveals anything that you don't want revealed. And that's a general practice anyway. My guides to whom I tune in, and all of yours at the same time, they're never going to say anything that will embarrass you. So, or reveal anything that you don't want revealed. So they'll put it cryptically, and sometimes so cryptically that I don't even understand what they're saying. But as long as you do, that's the thing that really matters. Also, you'll get information from what I say to other people. That's always the case. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one that I received. That actually came in at the end of the session last time. This one's from Teddy, wanting to know about romance. Online dating apps, so interesting. So many people ask me about this and weighing in on it. And Teddy said, within a few days I quit because I feel like they're not working for me and the matches just don't feel right. Okay, so let's see what the guides have, because I have an opinion about this from all the other times that I've talked to people about this, but let me see what I get specifically for Teddy today. Okay, we've got Teddy's guides, mine, yes. What do they want to say to you? Stop worrying about it. I know that's easy for them to say and much harder for you to live with, but they're saying don't worry about it. And when they say stop worrying about it, and they might say it as in stop worrying about it, but they say it with complete love. We're all concerned about not being alone and having affection and being cherished and being seen and accepted and celebrated for who we are. It starts at home. It starts feeling that way about ourselves. It starts with friends who are not the loved ones who are in your bed, but they are representing the way in which you would like to be treated, the way you would like to be seen and appreciated. And while you're doing that, you are saying to the universe, this, I want more of this. And then you can be playfully, I have what I call a God jar. And I took a pickle jar and I decorated it. And this came from a friend of mine, Ellie, suggested this to me. She got it out of a book that was about creativity. But anyways, the God jar is for all the things that are beyond our control. And so you can write a message to God and say, please, this is what I'm handing over to you, because, and whatever form of bigger than you might hand it over to your higher self. You could call it your higher self jar. It doesn't matter. But put in there what it is that you're looking for. And Rainey, we talked about this last week. It was your turn to ask this question about love interests. So put it in there and hand it over, and then keep yourself open. There may be in ways in which you're blocking this, and then rather than obsess about blocking it, you can just say to your guides and helpers, I would really lovingly like to see how I might be blocking myself, and do anything and everything to remove those blocks in as painless a way as possible, and then hand it over. I know people who've met their mates through dating sites. Dating sites are not the answer, but they're also not the problem. If you're supposed to meet your partner through a dating site, then you will feel obsessed with it, and you'll have to go on there, or you'll go on there once and never again, and find your mate that way. It's what feels right to you, and what space are you living in every day that attracts the kind of energy that you want to have more of in your life. So I think, yes. So when I get this and this, that's when I'm getting internal yeses and nos. It's my body acting like a pendulum. So Teddy, that's you, and not just you, because I could be saying this to me. I could be saying this to anybody, right? It's anyone who's looking right now. All right. Tracy has a question. I'm thinking this would be a perfect time to start writing, but I'm at a loss as to what to write. They're telling me that you can be writing short stories, like a book of essays. Just start with that. If any of those have potential to be something bigger, you'll know when you finished writing them. But just engage in the writing process in a way that isn't precious. And by precious, I mean that you feel like it has to be a huge project, and if it doesn't have the potential to be huge enough, you won't even do it, right? So what they're saying here, Ellie's shown up. I was just mentioning you in God jars, Ellie. So write essays, write from your life, write from what you know. And if you want to, use that as the seed and then build something fantastical or imaginary out of that. The biggest, most important thing is that you should be enjoying what you're doing, number one, and number two, that it touches you emotionally. Whether it makes you giggle, or it makes you cry, or is something that makes you angry, whatever it is, start from that place. You want to start from a place of meaning. So that's what they're saying to you about writing topics. So Jane asks, can I get some insight for my podcast that I'm creating? I couldn't figure out where to add the question. Well, you added it in the right place because I've got it, Jane. All right. So insight for your podcast. Your podcast, what they're showing me is that it'll be an interesting combination of something that you know or do, or a skill that you have professionally, and then something that you've always loved on the personal level. They're saying that this podcast should be a marriage, and marriage could be the theme, although not necessarily, the ring kind of marriage, but a marriage. When we talk about marrying flavors and marrying themes, this is going to be a marriage. So if you use that idea of marriage as a kickoff point for you, you'll get some insights for your podcast. Don't wait for it to be too perfect. Start doing it, even if you're not putting it out there yet, or start it as a beta and tell everybody it's a beta. This is my learning ground. This is not my official kickoff yet, and just practice. Which is what this is for me, is me practicing with this so that I get comfortable with it, so that if I decide to take it in a different direction, I at least have this body of experience. So they're saying that's what you can do with a podcast. Monica, I'd like to ask for more insight into, I think it was your situation with your kids and their dad, your living situation, the divorce, and my parenting. In any insight or any words of hope. Okay, so all of you have been around together in a unit like this. Hi, April. Like this before. And it's not before, it's all concurrent because other lifetimes are other. They're all, it's like radio stations. We're all broadcasting at the same time. It isn't linear. So that means that every life can affect every other life. Just like what we broadcast on one radio station can be picked up and reported to somebody who's broadcasting on another one. So you've all been around before, and there are some things that you're healing. And sometimes healing comes about not through epiphanies and warm fuzzies, but through taking a role and living it out for the whole of your life, or through some critical moments of your life, or in some critical relationships in your life. And my sense is that you and the kids, you signed on to work this through, and you need to know that you're not, and I've said this to a few people this week, you're not working this through just for yourself. Your family is working this through, and it's like you're an influencer for the healing that needs to go on in many different families. And even if you don't report it out there, it's because it's energetic, it goes out, right? So every single one of us, with every single breath we take and every decision we make about whether we're going to be kind or cruel or whatever it is, it sends a ripple out. So in dealing with this situation that has been so testing for all of you, you are setting things up to heal, and to heal across lifetimes. So what they're also saying here is that you need to have clear boundaries, because part of what you're doing in the healing process is setting boundaries. And these are boundaries that can be set in this lifetime, but couldn't be, I'm using the past tense, but can't be in the other lifetime. Lifetimes, plural, because you guys have been around in different configurations for several lifetimes, not just this one and not just that other one that I'm mentioning at the moment. So, and this is true for all of you who are listening here today. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Sue. This is the questions that come in are always purposeful, and there's always something in them for all of us. So that what that tells me. So I'm checking in. Yes, they're saying to me, yes, every single person who's on here right now needs to have this particular information. So Monica, you're not alone in dealing with difficult family circumstances that feel so trying. I saw a post just before we came on here today that was a horse, and it was an ink drawing. I'll see if I can repost it in the group after this is over. But it said that our power is basically in being able to ask for help. It's not in not needing the help. It's in being able to ask for it when we need it. That's where the healing takes place. Okay, so I think that will be what you'll need mostly. And there's energy in this. Like, there's big energy. If this affects the whole group, then your heart is being massaged by the energy of the whole group right now, and that applies to everyone else as well. Okay, Rose asked, will I meet my life partner soon? I'm ready and hoping he's close. Let me tune into you specifically. Okay, I've got you. Your partner, I think, has floated into your life and then floated out again, and then floated in again one other time. So this time round will be the third time floating in. It isn't anything to do with you weren't paying attention and you didn't get it soon enough. It's not about that. You didn't do anything wrong. but you're a third time lucky person. This, sometimes you need to have something go past. Like I remember being in a Japanese restaurant where they had these little boats that float by with the different kinds of sushi on them, and you can pick which one. Hi, Carolee. And sometimes you have to have it go past 3 times before you decide, oh, that's the one I want. And so you're a third time lucky person. So my sense, Rose, is that this person is coming. The person needs you to be fully engaged in your life and doing things and not just sitting waiting for them. So be the most unique, the most delicious person. Okay, I've got yours, April, and I'll come back to it a little as we get closer to the end. Be the most authentically you can possibly be, because then you know when you attract the person that they're attracted to you, who you are authentically, and they're not going to say, oh, that's not who I thought you were, because you're broadcasting it, right? So you want to be out there broadcasting exactly who you are, so that they can get the perfect. It's like truth in advertising, right? You're going to be advertising what you really are. Okay, so I think that's what you need, Rose. I hope it is. Next person is Rainey. Rainey wants to know, with the UK government announced, because Rainey's in London, the UK government announcing plans next week to undo the lockdown, how likely is the second phase of the virus? Are they being too hasty? Yes, they're being too hasty. Yes, it's likely that there will be a spike. The governments are under a lot of pressure right now to ease this up, and they haven't eased it up yet. So sometimes they have to do enough talking about it so that people know that it's on the agenda. My guides have been telling me that when they decide to ease it up, that I should hold back for at least 2 weeks before what they say, what the authorities will say is safe. So there's I read a post from somebody the other day who's in Newfoundland, and Newfoundland has created a schedule for and a checklist for what has to happen before they can move to this next stage, and I think that a lot of governments are going to end up doing that. So what we're saying here, what they're saying here at the moment, because this is all fluid, right? But at the moment, you want to hold off, not just be 2 weeks behind what they're saying, but hold off for 2 weeks and then check in with yourself and see how it feels. Go with how it feels, because this is not about creating fear. Your guides and mine, they don't want to create fear for us, but they want us to be aware that there are a lot of agendas on the table right now with this, and your health is paramount. So each and every one of us has to weigh in inside ourselves to decide what feels best in terms of moving forward in any given situation. And there may be some situations, like you might decide it's okay to go to your dentist, but it's not okay to go anywhere else. So listen to that. So you got an internal, it's like a Geiger counter, right? It'll go whee! Even if you decide that you're going to go and you get to the door and something says to you, no, don't go in there, then listen to it. Listen to your intuition. Really, really, really important on that. Okay, so that's Rainey's question. Anne, I was wondering what the guides can tell me about preventing invasion of personal space, how to heal what is causing it. I'll give you a short answer to that, Anne, and also I'll be talking at the end about the power circle that I'm about to start up online, and that's a great place for you to learn skills around that. So in terms of our energy field, intention is everything. So set your intention first of all. That I have a mantra that I channeled from my guides that goes like this, and I say it several times every day. I effortlessly and continuously transmute and transform any and all energy that comes into my energy field into love and light and return it to the universe. And I'm happy to write that down and put it in our announcements, because I think it's really important. And I deliberately phrased it so that it's positive. This is not about keeping out awful stuff. It's about transmuting anything that comes into something that's of a higher form. So that's one answer for protecting yourself, and the other one is to do it with intention. So I go like this. I say shields up. My hands are going like this around the outside. Shields up. I say shields up, and I say love and light in, love and light out. That's a safe one. And you can, if you imagine it like the shape of an egg that goes down under your feet into the ground and up above your head as high as you can put your hands up like this. And then you can line it with, mother of pearl or whatever it feels good, glittery gems or rainbows or whatever you want to put inside that energetically is going to make you feel good and create that filter, because we don't want to be isolated. Otherwise you're in an igloo with no door and you can never come out, right? So you want to keep it as a filter to keep anything out that you don't want to be experiencing. So that's a start. It's a much more complicated question than that, but that will give you and the rest of the group, because I think a lot of you are in the same situation. So now I'm going to come back and take a look at some questions. I think there's just a couple of questions. One from April. Please give me insight on my marriage. It's our 20th wedding anniversary. Perfect time to get insight into that on May 6th. And okay, so I'm just going to go, I can't, wait, see if I can, no, I can't move it along there, but I'll just see what I get about the marriage in general. Okay, so there was a time in your marriage when you were going through a tough time. My sense is that now in the marriage, your partner's going through a tough time. And it doesn't necessarily look like it on the outside. It's an inner tough time. And I don't think that he necessarily has the self-development, self-awareness, vocabulary to be able, or skills to be able to explain it to you. So some of this you're going to have to intuit, and then you're going to have to, I don't know if you can check it out with him this way. I don't know if he's ready for that yet, but you can check it out this way to find out if you're in the ballpark. And don't try to fix him. Just don't, that's, normally it's men I say that to. I'm saying it this time. Don't try to fix it. Trust that you guys are in the right place, that you're basically pals, and that you will see one another through thick and thin. And trust that just as you came through the tough time that you went through, he will come through the tough time that he's going through. And pull in all the help that you need in order to be okay in yourself while he goes through this period. It feels like, and this is, anything about the future is a probability. It feels like there's a probability here of him being in the intensity of this for about another 6 months minimum. Although it might not be intense for every day. It'll go like this in it. And I think it's going to be about 18 months before it starts to clear. And of course he's at choice here. So he's going to decide what he does with it on his end, and how that impacts his relationship with you and with your kids. So I hope that's helpful, April. Maddie says, first time here. If you're still taking questions, just putting this one out there. Let me just see what that says. I'm looking for insight for my business. I'm a holistic trauma counselor. Oh boy, is this the right time for you to be doing that. Specializing in nervous system health. Now more than ever, my services feel so relevant and needed. However, my online classes aren't filling with ease, wondering what's in the way. I think you have to do some one-on-one work first. And it may be that you want to do it in little forums, kind of like what we're doing here, where you can talk about the principles behind it. What they're telling me, Maddie, is that as we go through this shift, and this is surely a shift, Marianne Williamson was talking about it just yesterday, and I reposted that on my feed. As we go through this shift, those of us who are on the leading edge of this, not because we're better people, but because that's what we signed up for, our nervous systems, because you're talking about the nervous system health, our nervous systems have been rewired. So that's why it's a little easier for us to go through this right now. So the people who are coming to you either need validation that their nervous systems have been or are in the process of being rewired, or they need some help holding the container while the rewiring goes on. So my rewiring has been going on for years, and I had mine done, my guides did mine on me, while my massage therapist, who's also, she's an energy worker basically, she was fine with holding the energy while I went through that. So she held the container while I was on the table so my guides could do what they needed to do on me while I was being held. So there's all kinds of different ways that this can happen. For some people it happens in their sleep. For some people, I know some people who ended up in the hospital so that they could be knocked out, so that their guides could take them out of their bodies and work on the body and then put them back in again, and all under the guise of an operation. So there's all kinds of interesting things that happen around this, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it more, because we don't really have the time to go into it in depth today. But just know, for all of you who are here today, your nervous systems are in the process of being rewired if they have not already been, and it needs constant adjustments because the vibration level of the planet keeps creeping up, and so as it creeps up, our nervous systems can be adjusted a little more and a little more, because it can take more without it going and start, you know, it's like if you're trying to drive a Lamborghini with a handbrake on, right? So the adjustments will happen. So very interesting question, Maddie, but start with the personal first, contacting people on the one-on-one, and then from that you can build a group, and the word of mouth will go out from there, is what they're telling me. Colleen wants to know if she's moving anytime soon. Not yet. You could, but it wouldn't be advantageous for you. You'd have to move again. So wait until the time is right. When it's the right move, you will know. It's like it's going to come. It's going to come with a one of those Nerf baseball bats, and it's going to whack you over the head, and you won't be able to miss it. So don't worry about it. It will come. It is coming. Flora says, I'm open, not Flora who's under somebody else's name, but another Flora says, I'm open to anything I need to know. Well, you're definitely getting it, because there's a lot of things that we've talked about here today that apply to you. Carol Lee, if you're still taking questions, how will my health problems affect my future? Your health problems, you need to see them as wellness issues, and they are things that are helping you to shift. So look at them as shifting opportunities, and then you, because you're feeling, understandably so, they're making you feel helpless right now, and your guides want you to know that you are in their hands as well as in the hands of the health professionals, and that if you're ever not sure, these lines of communication are much more reliable, much clearer, they're present 24 hours a day, as opposed to your GP, who can't be. So if you need reassurance, if you need insight, then go there. Camellia does some wonderful yoga nidra sessions, and those are great for being able to shift your awareness and have your higher self working on your body at the same time. It's not going to just go like that, disappear. But part of what's keeping it kind of stuck is fear. And when we get scared, we try to control things, and that controlling energy is a constricting energy, as opposed to one that lets us be more fluid. So that's as much as I can give you in the time that we have available today. Camelia's putting in there yoga nidra. Yes, would definitely be helpful to you. So feel free to reach out to Camelia, because she's doing them online right now, and they're wonderful. Okay, so that's all our questions for today. Remember, I'm coming back again next week, same time. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, then feel free anytime during the week, as long as it's before noon on next Saturday. Just fire them off to me. Remember, I have what I call ping mini readings available for $30 for 15 minutes. So if your funds are limited, or if you just have a quick question you want to ask, that's designed for you. It's tailored for this, and you can find that through my website. Also, I'm setting up for an online power circle, which will be 6 people. So I'm looking for 6 people to get it off the ground. And that's skill building for using your intuitive power, whether it's personally or professionally. And so we're definitely open to the professional application of that. So set up an exploratory with me if you'd like to know more about that. You can just send me a message. Also, Essential Conversations, my radio show that I co-host with Rebecca Mears. We're continuing to broadcast, even though we can't get into the studio. We're recording them ahead of time. So that continues to broadcast Fridays at 5 Pacific time, from 5 until 6. And the links for that are on my website. And if you have time and you're looking for something interesting to listen to, local change makers, we have a whole archive of, over 250 shows that you can tune in and listen to for free. So that's on there. So if you want to know more about anything that I'm doing, that's Lucca Halleck's Power Sorcerer, and my website is powersorcerer.com, which is spelled SOURCERER.com. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a huge pleasure. You're allowing me to do what I love to do most. Stay safe. Feel free to drop messages in the comments. If there's anybody you think might like to join the group, everybody who's in the group, in the Ask Lucca Live group, can invite other people to join the group. So feel free to do that. And I will take this and post it in the group and outside the group so other people can listen to it as well. That'll go up sometime this afternoon. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Stay safe and have fun.